constipation, diarrhea, flatulence, abdominal pain. Don't ignore these intestinal signals. Have you ever experienced any of these? Barbecuing with friends, holding the beer in your hand, diarrhea came dragging you out of the party after you just started with 2 bites. But in an ordinary day, you often sit on the toilet without anything, even though you did not eat anything. You are still bloated like a ball. Stomach pain in the summertime came right after every time you eat some ice. If you have most of these minor problems, you probably have a new title: intestinal sensitivity people. Chronic abdominal discomfort and changes in bowel habits usually characterize the sensitive bowel. In layperson's terms, it means that although the colonoscopy is fine, your stool is still often diluted, or there is always minor abdominal pain and flatulence. Statistics show that the proportion of people with bowel sensitivity worldwide is increasing. 1. Many studies in recent years have shown that gut dysbiosis plays a role in intestinal sensitivity. Disturbances in the intestinal flora may trigger intestinal discomfort. 2. In other words, intestinal sensitivities and intestinal flora interact with each other and influence each other. Since intestinal sensitivity and intestinal flora are so closely related, to improve intestinal sensitivity, we must first research into intestinal flora. Where does the intestinal flora come from? Our intestinal tract has a large number of intestinal flora residents. In most cases, they are indigenous and have been in your gut since you were born. Bacteria may be present in the amniotic fluid, and some flora may enter the body's interior during delivery and breastfeeding, and these are how the flora colonize the intestinal environment. 3. What do these flora that live in the gut do? Their primary role is to act as a biological barrier. They help balance the ecology of the intestinal tract and defend it against foreign pathogenic bacteria. Secondly, they assist the body in digestion and absorption, help synthesize vitamins and other nutrients needed by the body, and participate in the immune, growth and aging processes. Under normal circumstances, the intestinal tract residents can live in harmony. However, if the balance is broken, the flora begin to fight with each other. Thereafter, these may make your intestines become very sensitive, thus, diarrhea, constipation, bloating, stomach pain, and so on begin knocking on the door. Why is the intestinal flora becoming imbalanced? 4. First of all, dietary habits, meat intake, spicy food, fried food, and spoiled food may increase harmful bacteria and reduce beneficial bacteria. In addition, drug abuse and increased psychological stress may also cause flora imbalance, such as business trips, leisure travel, outdoor work and other external environment changes may also cause intestinal flora disorders. What will happen if the intestinal flora becomes imbalanced? These are more complicated than we thought. First of all, diarrhea. Microbial disorders in the intestine may lead to an increase in enterotoxins, which may lead to damage to the intestinal mucosa or increased sensitivity, resulting in diarrhea symptoms. In turn, diarrhea can cause changes in the number and type of intestinal microbiota, adding in the two factors interacting and influencing each other. 5. Having discussed the diarrhea direction, let's look at the other direction, constipation. Probiotics in the intestinal flora can help normalize bowel movement and also decompose prebiotics to produce water to moisten stool, both of which can help relieve constipation. When the intestinal flora is dysbiosis, it is likely to make bowel movements take longer and constipation will occur. In daily life, we may have the experience of stomach pain arrives after eating some cold food or after inhaling some cold air. These phenomenon, in fact, is also likely to be related to the intestinal flora. Intestinal flora disorders may affect a person's mood and can even lead to abdominal pain. Some people with intestinal flora disorders may experience discomfort responding to normal physiological reactions and a more violent response to harmful stimuli. A clear example is when the abdomen is cold, or after eating cold food, peristalsis is significantly accelerated followed by abdominal pain and other discomforts. The above symptoms are more intuitive and most likely to attract attention. In contrast, some other minor signs such as bloating is more likely to be ignored as a normal phenomenon. But this symptom may also be closely related to the imbalance of intestinal flora. Some studies have shown that the bloated group of patients accounts for up to 96% of the intestinal sensitivity group. 6. Increased numbers of pathogenic bacteria such as Staphylococcus and Candida in the intestinal tract of patients with bloating and an imbalance in these flora or an overgrowth of tiny intestinal bacteria may lead to increased gas production and abnormal gas accumulation in the intestinal tract, which may lead to bloating. Understanding the complicated relationship between intestinal sensitivity and intestinal flora can help us improve these conditions. We may also start with these intestinal flora to improve intestinal sensitivity. What are the ways to improve the intestinal flora imbalance? The first thing is to develop good lifestyle habits, such as avoiding harmful eating habits, such as overeating, gobbling, etc., eating less fried and pickled foods, getting enough sleep, and pursuing better physical fitness. On top of that, you can also choose to supplement some probiotics to improve the imbalance of intestinal flora more directly and quickly. However, be cautious when selecting and purchasing probiotics. The first is the type of strain. Usually, the preferred and trustworthy strains are those that have been widely used for a long time, such as Bifidobacterium longum, Lactobacillus acidophilus, Lactobacillus plantarum, etc. 7. These strains have more adequate clinical trial data validation, and are safer to use. Secondly, we need to look at the activity of the strains. WTO, ISAP, FDA and other authoritative organizations have focused on the activity of the strains. Hence, when choosing products, you can choose some regular brand manufacturers with more professional technology to ensure the intake of more good active flora into your intestine.